Hello, and welcome to the Unity Spiritual Center of Windsor, Ontario. My name is Joanne McGuire, and I am your guest host for today. Our speaker today is our very own Reverend David Owl, and whose talk is titled, The Power of Yes. I would like to do an opening prayer right now, and it's called New Habits. I commit to higher expressions of speech, thought, and action. Aristotle taught, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. To be the best expression of the Christ that I can be, I revisit my behaviors and routines. Where needed, I replace one unhealthy habit with a life-affirming one. If I find that I regularly complain, I make a concerted effort to express gratitude. If I have lapsed into mindless routines, such as snacking or binge-watching television, I insert a new activity into that same time slot, such as walking, reading, praying, meditating, or in these days, a Zoom course. As I consciously replace ineffective habits with more constructive ones, I feel happier, more peaceful, and energetic, more like my true self each day. Our singer for today is Drucker. She's going to be doing both our opening and our closing song and music today. Her first song is I've Got the Power, and the second song is I Am So Blessed. Here's Karen.
Got the power, you got the power, we got the power. I got the power, you got the power, we got the power. I got the power, you got the power, we got the power. I got the power, you got the power, we got the power. I've got the power to make all my dreams come true. I've got the power, there's nothing I can't do. I've got the power to be anything I want. I've got the power inside of me. I've got the power inside of me. Every day I'm wasting my time thinking that someone else is gonna do it all for me. I've got to get up, get out, get it, just get started. Take one step towards my destiny. I'll define my direction with clear-cut intention. Declare what will be and then watch it come to me. 'Cause I've got the power to make all my dreams come true. I've got the power, there's nothing I can't do. I've got the power to be anything I want. I've got the power inside of me. I've got the power inside of me. There are days when I feel that I'm just no good. Days when I don't even want to try. But when I stop, look and listen and surrender, I hear a voice of truth I cannot deny. And it says, you know you can do it. Just get down to it. Have faith in yourself and the will to see it through. 'Cause I've got the power to make all my dreams come true. I've got the power, there ain't nothing I can't do. I've got the power to be anything I want. I've got the power inside of me. Yeah, I've got the power inside of me. In those times when I feel so frightened and it seems like I just can't go on, I've got to look deep inside, 'cause that's where I find the power, the power, the power inside of me. Yeah, I've got the power,
Thank you, Karen Drucker, for your uplifting song about using our innate ability of power to make a difference in our world. We've got the power deep inside of us. And now, here's Reverend David to give us his message, The Power of Yes. And he'll be doing a meditation at the end.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Reverend David Old, and I am the senior minister at Unity Spiritual Center in Windsor, Ontario. And welcome to our online service today. Before we start, like I always do, is I like to just take a moment to have everyone just take a couple of deep breaths. And as we take these deep breaths, we bring our attention fully and totally to this present moment. And in this present moment, we allow ourselves to feel the presence of spirit. We allow ourselves to feel that peace beyond understanding that is at the very core of our being. So in this peace and in this centeredness and in this presence of spirit, we say, thank you, loving spirit. Help us to be open and help us to be receptive to your presence and your guidance and your wisdom today. And so it is. Amen. Well, again, everyone, thank you so much for being here. In Unity, we have what we call our 5 basic principles, and around which all of our Unity teachings revolve. Our first basic principle is that there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in our lives. And this one presence and one power is called by many names: Spirit, God, Divine Mind, Awareness, Source, Creator, just to name a few. But it is one present. One presence, everywhere present, and it is good. Our second Unity principle is a shoot off of that, and that is that we are spiritual beings ourselves because we are created in the image and in the likeness of God. The Spirit of God lives within each and every person. Therefore, all people are inherently good. And we're here on earth having a human experience. And our purpose is to affirm that good, to say yes to the good, to embody the good, and express the good which we and God truly are in truth. We were born with the attributes of the infinite. And our life's work is to recognize that, to awaken to that fact that we are spiritual beings. And we awaken to that, and we get in touch with that, and we align with that through our spiritual practices of prayer and meditation. Unity co-founder Charles Fillmore explored these attributes of divine ideas in a series of magazine articles that he wrote in the 1920s, and it was eventually published in a book in 1930. The book was entitled The 12 Powers of Man. And Fillmore defined the 12 powers as abilities, attributes, faculties, and capacities that he believed formed the basis of our Christ consciousness. They are divine ideas that constitute the pattern for perfection that's within each and every one of us. And the more we recognize them, we can develop them. And the closer we are to expressing the Christ, our true being, our divine nature. So these faculties that he discusses in his book, The 12 Powers of Man, are wisdom, love, strength, faith, imagination, order, understanding, will, power, zeal, release, and life itself. And this year, we're exploring one of these attributes each month of the year. And the attribute that we are exploring this month, is power. dominion and mastery. And it is this faculty that enables us to have authority over our own emotions, feelings, inspiration, and thoughts. In one of his books called Prosperity, Charles Fillmore writes that the dominion given you as your divine right is over your own thoughts only. When you fully apprehend this and begin to exercise your God given dominion, you begin to find the way to God, the only door to God, the door of mind and thought. So each month of this year, we do have an affirmation that we encourage you to repeat several times during the day throughout this month. And our affirmation for May is this: the power of my thoughts and words moves me ever closer to the truth of my being. Will you repeat that with me? The power of my thoughts and words moves me ever closer to the truth of my being. You know, since the beginning of the Unity movement in 1889, Unity has taught us to be ever so mindful of the thoughts and words that we allow to take root in our consciousness. Because as our third basic Unity principle states, we create our life experiences through our way of thinking. Let me repeat that. Our third Unity principle is we create our life experiences through our way of thinking. In their book, Teach Us to Pray, Charles and Cora Fillmore say, we have no independent mind. There is only universal mind, but we have consciousness in that mind, and we have control over that consciousness. We have control over our own thoughts, and our thoughts fill our consciousness. In Keep It True Lent, one of Charles's books, he also says that the thinking faculty in mankind makes each person a free agent because it is our creative center. In and through this one power, we establish our consciousness and we build our world. In Unity, we teach that life is consciousness. You stand where you are today, wherever that is, because of your consciousness. And if you don't like the way your life is now, then the only way to change it is by changing your thoughts, the contents of your consciousness. As Charles Fillmore points out, we must realize that whatever we put as a seed into the subconscious soil will eventually bring forth after its kind. And I want to make it clear, however, that we are seldom responsible for the majority of the thoughts and words that come into consciousness. You know, we're constantly being exposed to seed thoughts and words. Every time we turn on the television or the radio or listen to a newscast or just participate in day-to-day conversations. You know, these words, these thoughts, these ideas, they float into our consciousness, and actually they will dissolve back into that nothingness from which they come, unless we grab hold of them with our attention, inviting them to stay. Where we have control is our choices of what we allow to remain in our consciousness, what we allow to take root in consciousness. You know, this is just another way of talking about what we call the law of mind action, which is usually phrased this way: thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. In his book, Heart-Centered Metaphysics, Reverend Paul Hasselbeck says, it's more accurate to say that thoughts and feelings held in mind produce after their kind, because thoughts without feeling carry little energy and tend to have uh, few effects. He says the thoughts held with feeling tend to give rise to like thoughts. These thought feelings do not change until we choose to change our thinking feeling. So it is our thoughts and words and consciousness that we give energy to with feelings that cause those thoughts to take root and grow in our consciousness. In my preparation for this talk, I ran across an article by Damien Lafont, Dr. Damien Lafont, entitled "The Destructive Power of Negative Thoughts and Words." And it's really a fascinating article, and I wanted to share some points that it makes. Now, Dr. Lafont is what you call a mental coach with uh, VitaMind or VitaMind, VIDAMIND. It's an organization that works specifically with athletes on developing the mental skills needed for them to perform their best. This organization believes that in elite sport, 90% of success is based on mental ability, attitude, and environment. In his article, Dr. Lafont explores some of the research that has been done in neuroscience, specifically the work of world-renowned neuroscientist Andrew Newberg and Mark Robert Waldman. Newberg and Waldman are co-authors of a number of bestsellers, including "Words Can Change Your Brain" and "How God Changes Your Brain." How God Changes Your Brain was one of Oprah Winfrey's top 9 picks of must-read books in 2012. And according to Time Magazine, Newsweek, and the Washington Post, Newberg and Waldman are considered the world's leading experts in the correlation of spirituality and the brain. Their works are really quite fascinating. You know, Charles Fillmore, one of our co-founders, was a mystic, but he was also just extremely interested in the science of his day. And if you read his works, he's always quoting physicists of his day. And so he really was trying to explain how science and religion are working together, and they're working in really towards the same thing. So a lot of his writings is talking about how to understand science and how it relates to religion. What I find really fascinating about is how our earliest teachings of unity are being validated by the scientific research that's going on today, especially the research going on in quantum physics, for example. Now, according to Newberg and Waldman, if we were to put you into an fMRI scanner, and most of you know what an MRI scanner is, it's sort of like a huge donut-shaped magnet that can take a video of the neural changes happening in your brain. And so if you're in an MRI and they're scanning your brain and they flash the word "no" for less than 1 second, you would see a sudden release of dozens of stress-producing hormones and neurotransmitters. And these chemicals immediately interrupt the normal functioning of your brain, impairing your logic, reason, language processing, and communication. Think of it. Think of what happens to you if somebody just all of a sudden said "no" to you. I mean, just think of the reaction that you would think of danger, perhaps. I know with my dogs, I have two dogs that I adopted from an animal shelter, and I think they may have been abused when they were younger because, boy, if you say no to them, they just cower. I mean, they're just, uh, they're scared. And so it's something that I have to be more gentle with my voice. And but they're getting better. They're understanding that how much Dave and I love them. So, but anyway, you can just imagine how you feel when somebody says no. Uh, so, actually, just seeing a list of negative words in a few seconds will make a highly anxious person or depressed person feel worse. And the more you ruminate on them, the more you ruminate on these fearful words, these negative words, the more you can actually damage key structures that regulate your memory, feelings, and emotions. Dr. Lafont also points out that negative thinking is also self perpetuating. And the more you engage in negative dialogue at home or at work, the more difficult it becomes to stop. So this whole thing about watching your words and watching your thoughts has been, just essential to our unity teachings that we've taught from the very beginning. And it always surprises me when I'm sometimes when I'm talking to other to unity members that have been brought up in unity, it sometimes surprised me that we can be having a conversation and then they're talking about how everything is going bad for them, that their luck is no good, that they don't have enough money, and it's all of this negativity that they're speaking about. And in unity, we really believe that what you put out there is you're attracting it to you. So if you put a lot of negative energy out there, uh, it's going to be reflected back to you. So watch your words, watch the thoughts that you allow to linger in your consciousness. So research does show that negative words spoken with anger do even more damage. They send alarm messages uh, through your brain, interfering with the decision-making centers in the frontal lobe of your brain, and this increases a person's propensity to act irrationally. As I've noted before, from its very inception, Unity has taught the power of positive thinking and the use of affirmations to help embody and express positive thoughts. And at the other end of the spectrum, Unity has taught the use of denials. When we become aware of any negative thinking that we might be engaging in, uh, whenever negative thoughts come to mind, we are taught to gently deny that have any power over us, not to deny that they're there, but to deny that those negative thoughts have no power over us. And it's just a little reminder not to concentrate on the negative. And at the same time, we affirm power or dominion over any negative thinking that arises within us. In his article, Dr. Lafont discusses how fear-provoking words stimulate the brain in negative ways. He says even if these fearful thoughts are not real, other parts of your brain, like the thalamus and amygdala, react to negative fantasies as though they were threats, actual threats that were occurring in the outside world. He notes, curiously, he says that it seems that we are hardwired to worry. He goes on to say, perhaps an artifact of old memories carried over from ancestral times when there were countless threats to our survival. I can just think back to early times when if you were out in the wild, there were lots of threats out there. If you didn't watch out, you could be eaten by a saber-toothed tiger. In order to interrupt this natural propensity to worry, Dr. Lafont gives us several steps that we can take, and I'd like for you to just think about these. First, he says, ask yourself this question: is the situation really a threat for my personal survival? And usually it isn't. And the faster we can interpret or interrupt the amygdala's fight or flight reaction to an imagined threat, the quicker we can take action to solve whatever problem it is that we're facing. And you'll also, he says, reduce the possibility of burning a permanent negative memory into your brain. So you don't want to be concentrating on those fearful negative thoughts. Second, after you have identified the negative thought, which operates just below the level of everyday consciousness usually, you can reframe it by choosing to focus on positive words and images. The result of doing this is that anxiety and depression decreases, and the number of unconscious negative thoughts decline. As Newberg and Waldman note in their book, words actually change your brain. So when you turn negative thoughts and worries into positive affirmations, you regain self-control and confidence. To overcome negativity, we must repetitiously and consciously generate as many positive thoughts as we can. Recent research shows that we need to generate at least 3 positive thoughts and feelings for each expression of negativity that we become aware of. So make that your practice this week. If you find yourself thinking or speaking something negative, you'll need to generate at least 3 positive messages for each negative utterance you make. And for example, such things as, I'm disappointed. That's not what I'd hoped for. These count as expressions of negativity, as does a facial frown or the nod of the head. Lafont points out that it doesn't even matter if your positive thoughts are irrational. They'll still enhance your sense of happiness, well-being, and life satisfaction. In fact, positive thinking can help anyone to build a better and more optimistic attitude towards life. Dr. Lafont says positive words and thoughts propel the motivational centers of the brain into action and help us build resilience when we are faced with life's problems. And according to the research done by Waldman and Newberg, if you want to develop lifelong satisfaction for these, then you need to do these 3 things. And let me give those to you. Regularly, number 1 is regularly engage in positive thinking about yourself. So regularly engage in positive thinking about yourself. And number 2, share your happiest events with others. Share your happiest events with others. And third, savor every positive experience in your life. When he says savor every positive experience in your life, what comes up for me is a sense of gratitude, being grateful for all that you have in life. And that's another one of our key teachings in unity is what you're grateful for, it increases. It increases your happiness. It increases your joy in life. So be grateful. So at the end of his article, Dr. Lafont gives us some advice that's totally in alignment again with unity teachings. And he says this, he says, choose your words wisely and speak them slowly. This will allow you to interrupt the brain's propensity to be negative And as recent research has shown, the mere repetition of positive words like love, peace, and compassion will turn on specific genes that lower your physical and emotional stress. You'll feel better, you'll live longer, and you'll build deeper and more trusting relationships with others at home and at work. Dr. LaFont closes his article commenting that when you generate a minimum of 3 to 5 positive thoughts to each negative one, you'll experience what researchers call an optimal range of human functioning. That, Dr. LaFont says, is the power of yes. And a quote of Eckhart Tolle says, say yes to life and see how life suddenly starts working for you rather than against you. So I invite you this week to discover the power of yes. Say yes to life. See the good and affirm the good in you and others. Embody the good and express the good. Be the good which we and God are in truth. So say yes. Say yes to life. Namaste, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today. So before I lead you, begin our meditation, I would like to invite you to repeat our affirmation for this month one more time with me. And that affirmation is the power of my thoughts and words moves me ever closer to the truth of my being. So if you would repeat that with me. The power of my thoughts and words moves me ever closer to the truth of my being. And so it is, my friends, and so it is. So I invite you now to relax as we begin to enter into our meditation. Again, take a few deep breaths. And again, as we take those breaths, we are bringing our attention to this now moment. And if there are any thoughts that are making themselves noticeable in our minds about what went on earlier or what's going on later, we just let those go. We note them. Thoughts come and go, but we don't have to grab hold of them. We don't have to focus on them. We don't have to give them attention. They come and they go, and that's what we do. We're letting them all go right now as we bring ourselves into this sacred space of meditation. It's that sacred space that Charles and Myrtle Fillmore called the silence. The silence was what they called just resting with a still mind and a still body, just resting, open and receptive to the presence of spirit, open and receptive to the wisdom of spirit, open and receptive to the joy of spirit, to the peace of spirit. So every day, several times a day, they would just come and sit in the silence, being open and receptive. So we do that today. We just sit here, relaxed, allowing our mind and our body to rest. And knowing that the thoughts that we hold in mind attract that energy, whether it's positive or it's negative. So we rest, feeling the peace that is here right now, feeling the love of spirit. As the Apostle John says, God is love. And I can't think of a better description of the sacred, of the holy. Love. So I invite you to just rest for a while in this silence, in this feeling of love and peace, and allow yourself to be open and responsive to the guidance that you will receive. So let's spend some time, just a little while, in the silence. As we bring our attention back to this place and this time, we allow ourselves to say yes to life. We allow ourselves to affirm the goodness of each and every person that we see. And we allow ourselves to affirm the goodness within us. And we allow ourselves to affirm the goodness of all of life. We are blessed. We are at peace. And loving Spirit, help us to go forth this week and be the peace that the world is looking for, to be the expression and the outlet of your peace and your love and your wisdom. And we pray this in the name of the living Christ presence. And so it is. Amen. Namaste, and thank you for being here, and have a wonderful, wonderful week.
am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Thank you, Reverend David, for your message today regarding the power of yes. Great reference points on the value and the importance of denials and affirmations to access our divine and inner power and to be the best higher source consciousness we can be. I'd also like to thank Karen Drucker for allowing us to share her music and videos. In this moment, in this place, we remember who we are and affirm that we are so blessed and grateful. I would like to acknowledge and thank all who faithfully continue to support Unity Spiritual Center of Windsor with your financial donations. These love offerings go a long way to prosper all that we do and all whom we reach out to. Thank you for remembering to donate each time you are spiritually nourished by our events, classes, and service. It is easy to donate with e-transfer or PayPal. Please use the email address unitycenterwindsor@gmail.com. Or you can go to our website, unityofwindsor.org, and click on the blue donate link on the homepage. This will take you to a secure site called Canada Helps, where you can choose to make a one-time love offering or a recurring donation with a credit card or debit card. Finally, there is the good old-fashioned choice of writing out a check and popping it in the mail. Our contact information, including address, is found on our website. Again, it is unityofwindsor.org. We bless you and lift you up in gratitude for all your generous support. For those of you who wish to find out more about our ever-expanding variety of classes and social gatherings online, please refer to our weekly newsletter. If you haven't signed up to receive our newsletter yet and wish to do so, email us. we will have you signed up in a jiffy. Let us close our service powerfully with our vision, mission, and statement of being. Our vision: a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. Our mission: we inspire and empower spiritual growth to awaken us and transform the world. Our statement of being: I am a dynamic center of the Christ light, mighty to unfold my good and radiate that good to all. Together, we will pray a blessing over our financial love offerings. Divine love in me and through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, Spirit. Let us pray our prayer of protection together. The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, God is. I am divine. Thank you, Reverend David, for your message today and our homework for the week to create 3 different affirmations for every negative thought we find ourselves dwelling on. And thank you once again to Karen Drucker for allowing us to share her music and videos. And let's not forget our very own musical director, Mike Karloff, for his opening and closing music. And I'd also like to give a special thank you to all the behind-the-scenes people involved with producing our service today. Thank you so much. Well, after this meeting is conversations with Reverend David. And this isn't just an opportunity for us to connect and share with Reverend David and other people in our community. And that's at 11:30. And you can find directions on our website for how to connect to that Zoom call. Just like to say thank you for joining us today. From the bottom of our hearts for all your continued support. Have a wonderful week, everyone.